Assalamu alaikum, everybody. It's Smooth the Ansar. I'm outside today, got work off. Yay, me. I'm so happy because I work so hard, like most people have. Chasing after that dollar. What I wanted to talk about today, I guess, I don't know. I don't know if it's a talk or whatever, but my daughter and I, my baby girl, she's 9. We spent some time today going over our family history. My cousin Elijah, and I, we both take like a very huge interest in finding our lineage, and because it's not to say that other people in the family aren't interested, but we do like legwork on it, and he's found a lot more things than I have in some aspects. So I appreciate my cousin so much, regardless of this, but certainly including this reason. So my baby girl and I, we spent some time today. My cousin a couple of months ago sent me some stuff via email on the family, and alhamdulillah, we're able to go back thus far about 6 generations in our family, our lineage, and it's all very interesting. It's just so exciting. I know a lot of African American people. We're not able to go back that far genealogically, and so I'm ever grateful to Allah for giving us that. And so we do our thing, and it opens the door for so much. Not only to know ourselves historically, who are the shoulders we stand on. I just always have my descendants and my ancestors in mind, because they're so important. We nowadays, we're just so egotistical and so just selfish. We don't care about the people who are here in our lives, let alone people who came before us. When you think about it, you and me, we have been here for millennia. Genetically, we have been here for millennia. Each and every one of us on this planet right now can, if we had the opportunity and the means, could trace ourselves back to two people, Adam and Hawa. And to me, that is like amazing. I'm like so awestruck over that reality, and I just think it's so cool. And so when learning about yourself, who you are in fact learning about historical accounts, like all across the board. And so like today we were looking at some things, and for example, my 4th grandparents, which are my children's 5th grandparents, we where you're looking, and it had the approximate date of birth, year of birth, and my my 4th grandmother, she was born in 1865 or somewhere's about, because they can't like exactly pinpoint it, but they have a roundabout, the U.S. Census. And so she has her as having been born in 1865, and then my 4th grandfather, her husband, being born in 1862. And those years, anybody who knows anything about African American struggle and history here in this country, the United States of America, those numbers are significant, because the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1865, which means let me not say that just yet. So that's when Emancipation Proclamation came into being, and my 4th grandfather, her husband, they have been being born in 1862. I'm getting tongue tied. I don't know why. 1862. So again, those numbers are significant because in America, up until 1865, black people who were here were, prisoners, captives. And in 1862, that would have meant that my grandfather, my fourth grandfather, could have possibly been a captive. And the reason why I'm saying possibly, which goes back to what I canceled saying a moment ago, is because everybody, all black people who were here, African Americans, were not slaves. So know this: there were a significant amount of us who were freed people. They were still catching hell, but they were not, owned by any white folk. So that's pretty significant in our history. A lot of people, a lot of people don't even want to think about that because it's just too much. Like, I'm tired of hearing about this slavery and all this kind of stuff. I personally don't get tired of hearing about it because for me, it's our reality, and I want to know what happened. I want to know what happened to my people, and also, it's significant because they were significant, and so, I wouldn't. You probably never hear me make a statement like that. I don't want to hear about it. I've heard many people say this, and I understand where they come from too. Though, I'm not canceling out what they feel for what I feel. I'm just saying for me, you probably will never hear me say anything like that. And if you were to hear me say something like that, it might be, if I don't know why I would say something like that. Maybe it could be because of the unbalance of slave movies or whatever, or butler movies or maid movies or whatever, compared to that of people of significance. But I mean, me personally, I'm sick and tired of the other black movies, which are cats gang banging or sexing up everybody. I'm sick and tired of seeing black women in bed with dudes. I'm sick of all that, which is why I don't do Scandal and all that kind of thing. But anyway, that's me. So yeah, so that's what we're finding out these things about my family, and it's just wonderful and amazing. And I guess I wanted to do this little video / talk or whatever to encourage everyone to find out about who you are. I remember when I don't know if I may have said this before in another video, but when I was teaching at this Islamic school, and I think everybody here was African American, we're all Muslim, and I can remember I used to get on my parents' nerves because I'm a huge library person. I have books up the wazoo. And so I will always give my students projects and things where they had to go to the library. So I used to hurt them. But anyway, one thing, I don't really remember what it was on. It may have been on World War II, or I don't know what it was. But part of the project was they had to go and interview a grandparent or a person who I guess was over the age of 60 or something like that, for whatever the subject was. You needed to have actually experienced it. You had to be of a certain age. And they didn't have, they didn't have grandparents and stuff like that. And I was in awe because, I wasn't crazy old or anything like that, but I did come up with my grandparents. In fact, I was raised partially by my great grandmother Elma because we lived with them. Back in the day, y'all may not know this anymore, but back in the day, we used to be intergenerational inside of one home. And I know a lot of cultures and stuff probably still do this, alhamdulillah, because I think it's extremely important to have that. But and I wish I still did. But yeah, so we used to have that, and so we lived with my grandfather, who his father had long ago passed away, and so his mother lived with him, and so she raised us when we were small and whatnot, and from there, my family, like I won't. This my family history is just not my history, so I won't go too much into detail without permission from other folks, other kin. But I will say this because it is a very significant misfortune in this country amongst many people, certainly among African Americans. My family, I pray a lot, don't cry. We have come through much hardship in my family, primarily due to the government and different aspects of the government. So, some of my family lost touch. Like a whole entire generation got like messed around in my family because of DIFAS, which is the Division of Youth and Family Services, where I assume they still do this, but they would come into people's homes and they would take their children out. So that was something that happened in my family with my generation. So cousins of mine, they were taken away and we didn't see them anymore. We had a situation like with me, my mother died when I was really young. Yeah, I was the oldest of many. And so we got displaced. Like stuff like that happened in my family. And it's by the blessing and the mercy and the grace of Allah that we eventually got back together, like when we aged out of the system. And if you're someone like me who believes these illnesses and things, a lot of it is due to, corporations. The vast majority of it is due to corporations with their manufacturing practices, and or vaccines and just different things that goes on now. We are a very dirty, very toxic society, and because of that, there's so many different illnesses and sicknesses that are man-made that has plagued the entire country. And my family was not untouched by that. So we have a lot of things that we have overcome and that we're trying to overcome still in my family. And alhamdulillah, my generation, as I said, we went through things and came out of it, but now we're struggling trying to make things right by our children. And what another very, very important and significant thing that has happened in this country. See, if you're young, like I said, I'm not like old, I guess. I'm like ancient to some of y'all, but I'm 42. So some things to young people just may seem it's the way things go. But so older people who may have known or seen something different, you can see the changes. But what that thing is that we have so many children out of wedlock in this country. We have children, we don't know who the fathers are and all kinds of things. Or we have children and the fathers won't claim them. Or the mother is like, peeved with the father, so she won't let the baby interact with that side of the family and all sorts of things. So the lineage is now broken. We don't know who we are. We are, we're just so messed up. Yeah, wow. We're just so messed up. And again, my family has not been untouched by these things. And so we're like struggling uphill. But alhamdulillah, we know that there is something wrong. And we know that there's a struggle that must be, that we must struggle. There's something that we need to struggle and make it right. And alhamdulillah, we do that. And again, big ups to my cousin Elijah, because he is fierce with it, you know. And so us getting to know our family, it's just, it's thrilling, you know. Like I never knew I knew I had a fourth grandfather, just like I know I have a 24th grandfather and a 104th grandfather, and so on and so forth. But to know his name, to know where he came from, to know like, okay, I'm not tripping. I thought I remember that somebody came from Virginia, you know. It's like, oh, okay. And it's just amazing. And so for me to sit down and be able to talk to my 9-year-old daughter, you know, um, it's just amazing. And in fact, let me back up. It's not 6 generations that we know of. It's 7 generations, because I have a grandson. I'm now a grandmother. So that's 7 generations that we now know of. And so I encourage everyone, even if it's hard, because you have to, I would like for you to realize and to realize and not just accept the fact, but actually do something that maybe you don't care about who you are. Maybe you don't care who your grandparents were, or your father, or your father's people, or whatever. However, your children just may. Your grandchildren just may. So it is actually, in my mind, it is your responsibility. It is all of our responsibility to find out and make a way for the future generations of us. And for one day, you might say, like, you know, I really need to know this. Something may happen to you, health wise, where you need to know certain things, because those things are important. You know, I mentioned another time that, you know, we just get all strung up on this whole romanticized Hollywood version of relationships or whatever, or, you know, excuse me, and we have sex with and have children with just whoever we accidentally get caught out there by. We don't know what's going on with them genetically. And you know, there's people who have schizophrenia in the family. There's people who have different ailments and different things going on in their family and their genes. There's people who have sickle cell. For, you know, African American people and like Mediterranean people who have sickle cell in their family, and you may not be affected by it. You may just have the trait, but you get with somebody who has the same, and then you have a child who is virtually crippled by this disease. And you know, you'll find yourself wishing that you had made some wiser choices. Like, seriously, it's not just about love. I'm all about love too, you know, and I love to be romance and everything with my honey and everything. But you know, we got to keep it in perspective. And so these things need to be known. They're important. They're significant. And you know, maybe your father is a butthead. Maybe your mom's a butthead. You know, maybe the man you had a child with is a butthead. But chances are, everybody in their line was not a butthead. You know, so I don't know. We just have to, you know, keep these things in mind, I think, and you know, give props to those who came before us and those who struggled and died for us. It wasn't only Martin and Malcolm, you know. We like to, again, with the whole romanticizing things, we like to put Malcolm up there. We like to put, you know, the civil rights movement and Rosa Parks, and they deserve it. However, they were not the only ones. They were not the only ones who fought and killed for the freedom of us as a people, and you know, for the safety of their own families. And Nat Turner wasn't the only person out there rallying up the troops, trying to overthrow or try to take out as many as he could with him. You know what I mean? They weren't the only ones. I don't care if it was just like your grandfather who had to go to work and struggle and be called boy every day. He's 55 years old. Some cat calling him boy and disrespecting him every day. That's a struggle. You may not know this if you don't have to go through it, but that's a struggle to be disrespected and humiliated every day just so you could buy your family some food, you know, just so you can, just so you can try to be with some sort of remnant of dignity and peace and to push your family forward so your children can do better for their children who can do better for their children. We miss this whole concept, it seems, of pulling up other people, like how the old, that artwork, I don't know who even did it, but that you're not heavy, you're my brother. We don't get that concept now. We don't care about nothing or nobody. And it's sad.